For this book, you'll need envelopes, some paper for the cover, raffia or any other twine, hole punch, scissors, and the things you find on your nature walk. This is a book that you can put things in. This can be done very easily if you're just by yourself going for a nature walk, or if you're with the class going to explore the playground or the woods near the school. The idea in this book is to go outside and pick up little samples of things you find out in nature. For example, in my backyard, I found some tree bark. I found a leaf from a milkweed. I found these grass with the really interesting seed heads. I found some flowers from the butterfly garden. I found an oak leaf. And I found a grapevine. And then when I sit down to make my book, I'm going to put in it 5 pages or 4, and you can put as many as you like. But the idea is to go through your collection and see which one do you value the most, what helps in your garden and in your environment. I think these seed heads, I'm sure there's something that eats this, but I'm not sure. Maybe birds eat the seeds, so this is actually helpful for birds. My oak tree, I know, has a hole in it where there's a whole family of squirrels that live. So I like the oak tree because it gives shelter to the animals in my backyard. These flowers are a food source for butterflies and bees. And the bark, it's really interesting because when I pulled this bark off, there were little creatures living underneath between the bark and the trees. Ooh, and the grapevine. We get grapes from grapevine, right? And juice and wine and all kinds of cool things. So this is valuable too. And the milkweed is for the caterpillars, the monarch caterpillars that eat only milkweed. So I'm going to pick and choose 4 things that I want to put in my book. But first I will show you how to make the book. Now another way in which we value our land is and our trees is by recycling paper. So I have envelopes that I have collected, just junk mail envelopes that come in our house every day in the mail. And I'm going to use these to make this album. So the first thing we do is cut the tops off nice and neat. They don't all have to be the same size, it doesn't matter. If you have these little windows, that's neat because you can then see what you put in there. So I'm going to cut the tops off all these envelopes. You can also use new envelopes if you don't find ones that match. And your book can be big or small. You can use the big yellow folder, big yellow envelopes too. All kinds, whatever you have. I'm going to cut this to this size. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 envelopes, and I'm just going to cut them all so they're just as tall. Then I need a cover. So I have this paper that I'm going to reuse to make the cover of my book. I'm going to cut it. It doesn't have to be the same length, it doesn't matter. One, two, three, 4 envelopes and a cover. We will punch the holes. I'm going to mark the holes first and then punch them individually, 2 at a time. And then I'm going to just place it on this so I know where to punch the white envelope. 3, and then the last one. So this is the last of the 4 envelopes, and I've punched the holes individually in each of them so that using the cover as a guide, so all the holes are in the same place, and when we are binding they all line up like this. They all line up. Now we are going to use string to bind the book together. I have raffia, and it's nice and blue. And we're just going to play with it and use it to weave back to front, in through the bottom hole, out the front. And you can make all kinds of different patterns as you like. In the back and out the front. Oh, actually, this is the front. And then if you leave enough, you can even bring it back up. So I've just sharpened the tip, put it back through here, so we make a nice X kind of design. See right here. And then back through here. And then we just secure it with a knot or double knot. Now that you have this book, we are going to put in here the things that we value, and we're going to write why. So I'm going to put in the bark, but I'll write first before I put in the bark, because once I put it in, I will not be able to write. I value the bark of the tree because it protects the tree. So I write that, and I put the bark in the envelope. And then you can do all the pages and put different things from your collection in each page and complete the book and put a label on the cover. Or you could just write on the cover.